Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
What's up, everyone? Hybrid here, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series Imperial Remnant Snowtrooper, as appears in Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu. An excellent movie. I gotta say, I have gotten my 4th viewing in, probably going to be my last viewing in theaters. Of course, there will be many, many home watches afterwards, but this is such a fun movie. I'm still running the Mando and Grogu hype train, and I imagine I will be for the majority of the rest of the year as well. This Imperial Remnant Snowtrooper is one of the figures that I have wanted most from the movie. And when we got the AT-RT driver in the first wave, I was like, gosh, I was excited to have the AT-RT driver, and I was even more excited when I realized how many of those parts could make an excellent Snowtrooper. So when Hasbro did that live stream showing the trooper off and showing off exactly how many accessories this mainline figure is going to get, gotta say, this box has a lot of stuff going on around the figure in it, so this is going to be a very fun review. Let's go ahead and dive into it and see what's going on here. Here's the Imperial Remnant Snowtrooper in the packaging. We'll do a quick little look at that before we dive into the review. As you see, it is a standard Black Series packaging in the purpley blue Mandalorian and Grogu flavoring. You have your Black Series logo above a big window showing the trooper and his many accessories off nicely. You have his name, Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper, over his number 8 in the Mando and Grogu lineup. As mentioned, the name of the movie in blue. Warning 4+ Hasbro. A really cool art of him on the side. Really digging that. Wraparound window, wraparound stripe, Black Series logo at the bottom. Around back, a zoom in of that side art, a Black Series logo once more, a trooper name, and then the bio about the movie, not about the character, so we aren't digging too deep there. Number 8 in the line, and then a bunch of legal stuff, Disney and Hasbro logos, barcode, more legal stuff, hanger tab up top. Very standard action figure packaging stuff here. Not a whole lot to write home about, so that said, let's tear this guy out of the box and see everything going on. Here's the Remnant Snowtrooper out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at his accessories first. Starting off with those weapons, he does come with the Imperial Stormtrooper E11 blaster. It is in a dark gray plastic, not quite black. Interestingly enough, I believe this is the first time we've gotten a trooper from a Disney Plus property that doesn't have the flashlight on the side. That's interesting. I'm guessing this has to be a new mold because you would think there'd be like a hole for it to peg into on the side. So very interesting. Still features that extended like banana clip on the side, which I do like. But yeah, that's unique. I don't think, looking at the movie, I don't think a lot of the Snowtroopers carried the E11 to begin with. But it's just interesting that they chose to make a new gun. Setting that aside, couldn't tell you the name of this one. I think it's a DLT, but I don't promise that. In that similar dark gray plastic. It's got a little bit of a metallic shine to it. Now, these, I noticed them carrying a lot in the movie, and I noticed in the movie they typically did have the flashlight on the side. So I'm a little bummed that he doesn't have that. Not a deal breaker by any stretch, but just, I'm noticing it. Now, we've gotten this gun before in the line. It's typically been fairly rubbery. This one's pretty stiff plastic, so I do generally like that a lot. I believe this is the gun most of my Remnant Snowtroopers at least, are going to be carrying. So, very, very nice looking blaster. Now, the big gimmick with this guy, right? In the movie, you see a variety of Snowtroopers. Some of them don't have the face shield, that little like fabric, which is the traditional, original trilogy way to do a Snowtrooper. Some of them had the exposed, like, rebreather, whatever, air filter, whatever this thing is, underneath the front of the helmet. So when they said, hey, it comes with this head sculpt, and then it comes with that head sculpt with a swappable face fabric, just with a little bit of a different texture, so you can have some variety on the shelf, I'm like, dang, that's really cool. What I didn't expect the case to be is, now I don't know if this is supposed to be glued or not, but on the one with the rebreather, it actually unclips, and it was actually unclipped in the package. It was like very loosely put together. I didn't notice that. It snaps together nice and secure, but if the gimmick is that you can swap the fabric, between one head to the other, you would think this could have just been like a solid mold. I'm just picturing this coming apart on the shelf potentially, with like shelf ties and stuff. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to be like floating on the neck peg. But still, I don't know. I imagine this could have been a solid piece. But the way the gimmick was intended to be done is pull the head right off. And at this point, you could just put this head right on, right, and have this version of the Snowtrooper. And truthfully, maybe we'll run with that for the duration of the review, because we saw a bunch of those in the movie. Taking a look at this, looks very nice. This face shield is fairly smooth. It's got some subtle wrinkle to it. Got these little slits on the side, and you got a little bit going on the back of the helmet, too. Very nice look. And then it's meant to pull out from the interior of the helmet, and then you bring this over, and you push it inside the helmet into that outer dome. There you go. And just like so, now you've got a Snowtrooper faceplate with just, as I drop it, again, just comparatively, it's a little bit more texture going on. So something else that I noted, and I believe it to be correct, in the movie, these guys have some extremely minor weathering. The figure's a little bit heavier on it, but the face shields are always like a vinyl, so they don't really change color. They stay pretty white. So I look at this, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty white, and this is a little bit cream. It stands out to me a little bit. I don't mind it, but it just is eye-catching in a way. We'll set that off to the side for now and take a look at this. So yeah, these upper helmet dome pieces are the same, and considering that this mouth portion can come off of this, I guess what I'm ultimately saying is they could have just given us one of that upper head portion. I'm not mad to have an extra, but like, what are you going to do? You're not going to use it, you know? So it's just an interesting thing. But I do like this one with the exposed face as well. Just a unique design. And it's one of those things where it's like, I like it in this kind of movie where, gosh, after Empire Strikes Back, I was never asking what's going on under there, but they showed it to us. I'm like, oh, that is cool. Now I know, you know? Like, it's one of those, like, kind of weird mentality about it things, I suppose. But this guy does look rather cool with that face piece. I'm going to end up with a few of these guys and have a variety on the shelf. At least, you know, all three that this figure can do, but probably even multiples. Looking at the rest of this figure, a lot of what's seen here is going to be familiar if you have the ATRT driver, mostly the legs and arms. However, they've changed a little bit of coloring here. I like the it's kind of gray, kind of tan for the undersuit. Bringing in the original Snowtrooper figure. This is very Empire Strikes Back, you know, specific. Empire Strikes Back, they used a lot of cream on that bodysuit, and I never super cared for that. I always wished it was a little bit more in the gray direction, and I feel like this, in my mind's eye, is a little bit more of an accurate Snowtrooper. I say accurate as if this isn't accurate to Empire Strikes Back. But gosh, I think I like this coloring a little bit more. I wish that we could get a version that has the white armor, you know, to then be, you know, like your clean traditional trooper. But as is, I mean, this does, I mean, other than, I guess, the faceplate, this does strikingly resemble a Snowtrooper to me. So really liking how this guy turned out. You know, it's going to have great articulation. We'll look at that, but it's going to have great articulation because the ATRT driver had that. He has a unique torso so that he can have this different torso overlay. He comes with the backpack, which actually is removable, despite not being, usually they put this thing floating next to the figure in the box, but he has a peg in the middle of his back, and then two rectangular notches. So it's actually very similar to like the Mandalorian's jetpack that they use. So pushing that in will keep it permanently aligned up and down. Very nice details going on with that. Bringing in the original trilogy version. Yeah, very similar. It's a different sculpt. They could have gotten away with it, but they chose to make a new one, and that's probably the right choice altogether, not reusing anything from an old mold. But yeah, really liking the look here. You know, it's got just a touch of cream going on with the coloring of all the armor pieces. They're not white, and then some very subtle little bit of grime going on here and there. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good representation of what we see on film. I like this guy a lot. Very cool figure. Let's go ahead and run through that articulation as promised. He has that double ball joint neck system, which allows him, without the face shield, to look that far up and that far down. Of course, you get your side to side and some pivot. For fun, let's go ahead and swap this one on. Best guess, the face shield is going to take all of that away, although there are those little splits there, so you might get some, right? Yeah, you get a little bit of side to side, and that's better than the original Snowtrooper. Not really any pivot. extremely minimal, not even up and down, it's more forward and back. But now we know. The arms can come up to that T-pose. There is that nice deep butterfly joint in there. Those shoulder pads are connected via that ring on the peg in there, like so. So you can bring them all the way around the shoulder. They don't get in the way of articulation. Single jointed elbows go a decent amount past 90, and then swivel. There is that kind of like wrist swivel where the gauntlet can rotate, over the forearm. And then the hands are ball jointed and go any which direction. That is rather nice. You have your mid-torso kind of like waist ball joint right there. Making the overlays not get in each other's way. You get into crunch, not much forward. You can go a decent amount back, but yeah, forward is not a huge thing here. You get some twists, though, and some side-to-side pivot, so you can get a little expression there. The legs can do a really good wide split. That Kamina is very soft, rubbery plastic. That's very nice. And then the legs can kick that far forward. The front kind of cod armor gets in the way a little bit. Yeah, that far forward if you swing it out a little bit. Back, not much. That's about as much as any other Black Series. No upper thigh cut. There's a little bit of pivot on the ball joint. I don't really like the thigh cut anyway. Single jointed knees go a little past 90. The knee pad is, of course, like on that strap there. You can see a little bit of the knee articulation there. You can, of course, bring that down a little bit to try and hide it somewhat. And so just depending on how you're trying to pose them on the shelf. Of course, you have a boot cut looking nice. And then the feet can point pretty far forward, pretty far up, and there's that forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get them in some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the floor, which is going to be great for some dynamic trooper posing. Here's a Snowtrooper of all the other Mando and Grogu figures I have so far, just to give you a general idea of scale. Gosh, these guys are rocking all in at about the same height. But for what it's worth, Sigourney Weaver, she is a 6-foot-tall woman. Mando's 6 foot tall. Most of your troopers, they try to hit that 6-inch mark just to be, 1/12, 6-inch scale. And, yeah, he's taller than Grogu, so that fits. But, yeah. All in all, he does look really good mixed in with the other Imperials from the line so far. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the new Remnant Snowtrooper? Gosh, this guy is super cool. I really got to give Hasbro immense amounts of credit when it comes to things like the new blaster, the swappable faces, the swappable helmets. I mean, there are so many varieties of the Snowtrooper in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and once upon a time, Hasbro would have sold you 3 separate figures. And personally, they're still going to sell me 3 separate figures because I want to put one of each on the shelf. Odds are even more because I am such a fan of the Snowtrooper as an armor design. But gosh, guys, this is such a fun action figure. He articulates so great. He looks beautiful. He represents, one of my favorite scenes being the opening act of The Mandalorian and Grogu. I love that whole movie. But that opening scene, Mando working his way through the ranks of the Imperial Remnant base, these guys getting yanked off into dark hallways, and you see the red flash, you see the silhouette of the Mandalorian. I mean, gosh, what a cool, visually dynamic scene. They always know how to make Star Wars look good now at the Disney Plus team, and I'm just so excited, so excited to finally have this guy available. The rest of the figures are going to be in my possession very, very soon. I found the Wave at Walmart tonight and just grabbed the Snowtrooper, but the others are coming from Amazon, so expect more reviews next week. And yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu, the adventure's still ongoing, so keep an eye out on the channel. Lots of reviews to come yet. May the Force be with you. Thank you for hanging out. I'll catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with you. We'll see you then. Bye.